Welcome to the Deep Dive. We dig into complex stuff, cut through the noise, and try to pull out the key insights for you.
Uh-huh.
Today, we're diving headfirst into something really fascinating, maybe a bit confusing too. The near-death experience, or NDE.
Yeah, and we've got a very specific, really detailed first-person story here. It's from a man, we're calling him Ken M.
Okay.
And this isn't, your standard NDE story. Forget the pearly gates, the tunnels of light, that kind of thing.
Right.
Instead, what we have is this really profound, quite unusual experience that completely changed his life. It kind of forces us to rethink what spiritual transformation can even look like.
So our mission today really is to unpack the core puzzle in his story. Because Ken M went through this incredibly violent physical crisis, only to find himself in this state of, calm, disembodied consciousness. We really need to look at how that feeling, that pure awareness without any identity, led to such a massive shift in his philosophy, his whole outlook.
Exactly. And the setup, the beginning, is crucial because it shows just how extreme the physical situation was. This happened Halloween, October 31st, 2021.
Yeah.
Ken M was mountain biking. Pretty remote area, south of San Francisco.
With strangers, I think.
Yeah, with a group he didn't know well. Anyway, halfway through the ride, he starts feeling incredibly weak. Describes his symptoms to another rider.
And this is the crazy part.
Right. By sheer chance, the guy's a cardiologist.
Wow. Talk about luck. Or fate.
Instantly tells him you're having a major heart attack. And from there, things just cascade. Catastrophic, really. While they're waiting for help, he feels this. He called it a heavy thunk in his chest.
Wow.
That was the first cardiac arrest. His heart stopped, clinically dead.
Just right there on the tray.
Right there. Then, another stroke of luck, maybe. A park ranger shows up pretty quickly with the defibrillator, gets him back. But it wasn't over. The source is really clear on this. He arrested again and again. They had to resuscitate him several more times before the helicopter could even get there to evacuate him.
Multiple times. Clinically dying and being brought back repeatedly.
Yes. This intense, repeated physical collapse.
Yeah.
That's the backdrop for what happened next. This immediate, sharp turn into something totally non-physical.
So his body is literally in the process of failing, being shocked back, failing again.
Yeah.
But the second he loses consciousness that first time, boom, peace.
Total peace. That's what's so striking. He describes it as waking up or just becoming aware, floating in a beautiful, tranquil darkness.
Floating, okay. But here's the bit that really makes my brain hurt.
Uh-huh.
He says very clearly this was his highest level of consciousness and alertness ever, while floating. But
no self.
exactly. No sense of who he was, no memory of his life, Ken M, the bike ride, nothing. Just awareness.
Right. Disembodied. He didn't know how he got there. It's a huge paradox, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, if your ego, your memories, everything that makes you you is just gone.
Yeah.
How do you even register experience, let alone feel euphoric and hyper alert?
Well, it challenges our basic ideas of consciousness, right? Maybe consciousness isn't always tied to self-awareness in the way we assume.
Like it was just pure reception, raw awareness without the personal filter.
That's how it sounds. He specifically said it was very different than my everyday consciousness because the self wasn't there. That absence was key.
And this lack of self also messed with time.
Completely. Time just stopped, or it lost all meaning anyway. He felt like this place was eternal, like he'd been there forever.
Wow.
It suggests maybe our whole sense of past, present, future is, tied to being in a body, living a life story. Take that away, and maybe time dissolves.
So in this timeless, selfless void, what did he perceive? He wasn't just floating in nothingness, right?
No, visually it was quite vivid. He saw these brilliant orbs of blue and white light just hovering around him in the darkness.
Orbs of light.
Yeah. He described them as scintillating, beautiful, and crucially, they weren't beings, not angels, not guides, just light.
Just light.
And seeing them filled him with this incredible sense of peace, happiness, safety, just overwhelming positive emotion.
So the intense positive feeling, the euphoria, often reported in NDEs, it can happen without seeing loved ones or a God figure.
Seems so, yeah.
Yeah.
In his case, it was the light and the void itself that carried that emotional weight. No narrative needed.
And there was something else. A feeling of being pulled.
Yes. He mentioned feeling an undertow, like a kind of gravity, he said, pulling him towards a deeper void. He felt like he was right on the edge, the precipice of something more.
But he didn't go.
No, he just hovered there, suspended in that peaceful, light-filled space. This is, the pleasant phase, the pure void experience.
Just held there, peaceful.
In this state of grace, yeah. poised between his life, which was in chaos, and whatever that deeper void represented.
Okay, that sets up the next part perfectly because
Yeah.
this didn't last, did it?
Yeah.
The peace was shattered.
Yeah.
Brutally interrupted, yeah. And this is why the account is classified as both pleasant and distressing. That's quite unusual for these void-type NDEs.
Right, because the bliss had to suddenly compete with the sheer terror happening back in the physical world.
Exactly. While he's floating in this perfect tranquility, he starts to sense, dimly at first, that a story was unfolding somewhere else.
The story.
Yeah, like a distant narrative, a story about some man in deep trouble, and people were trying really hard, desperately to help him.
And he didn't immediately connect that story to himself.
No, not at first. He actually disliked it. It felt wrong. He used words like abrasive, tearing, and scratching to describe the texture of this other reality encroaching on his peace.
Abrasive. Wow. So it was literally painful to sense the physical world returning.
It seems like it was repulsive to him. He wanted to push it away, stay in the void. He said he spent what felt like a long time arguing with himself, rejecting this intrusive, unpleasant story.
Fighting it. Imagine that. You found ultimate peace, and then the feeling of your own broken body starts scratching at the door.
It's an incredible image, isn't it? A battle between pure consciousness wanting to stay free and the pull of embodiment, of survival.
So he's trying to stay disembodied, stay in the peace.
Trying hard. But that distant reality, that abrasive, scratching feeling, it just kept getting stronger, more insistent, until finally the realization just slammed into him. This man is me.
Ah, the connection is made.
And that was the turning point. That recognition shattered the void. The physical world started to bleed back in, to materialize around him.
What did he notice first?
Sounds, mostly. The roar of the helicopter engine, urgent voices, paramedics. He suddenly understood the heart attack, the arrests, the whole desperate fight to save him. That was the abrasive story he'd been pushing away.
Wow. So the NDE wasn't just a passive movie. It was an active struggle.
Absolutely. Between wanting that eternal peace and the body's sheer will to live, that duality is what makes this account so powerful, I think.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit, because there's another layer to this paradox. The content of the experience itself, this incredibly profound, life-altering event. He said it was entirely consistent with his beliefs before it happened.
Right. That's a key point. Ken M. knew about the common NDE stuff. You know, the tunnel, seeing a being of light, meeting relatives who've passed on.
But he experienced none of that.
Zero. No tunnel. No beings divine, religious, mystical, deceased loved ones. None of it.
And critically, he didn't come back with, like, secret knowledge about God or the afterlife or the meaning of life.
No special revelations, nothing that wasn't already kind of accessible through his own philosophical explorations beforehand, which is really different, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of NDEs are transformative precisely because they overturn someone's existing beliefs.
Right. And his beliefs before this, he identified as very rational, grounded in a materialist view.
Yeah, very much so. He practiced Buddhism, but saw it more as a tool for personal growth, like psychological well-being, not really a faith system about what happens after death.
So this really poses a question for you, listening right now. If the NDE doesn't show you anything radically new, if it fits neatly into your existing worldview, how can it still feel definitely real, as he insists it was? And how can it change your life so completely?
It's a great question. And I think maybe the answer isn't in the information he received, but in the feeling, the sheer quality of the experience.
Say more about that.
Well, he talks about how frustrating it is that he can't quite put it into words. There was a specific quality to that piece, that beauty in the void.
Indescribable.
Essentially, he felt it in a way that no amount of rational thinking or philosophical reading could ever replicate. It wasn't new data. It was like a direct, unmediated knowing, a realization felt in his very being or non-being at that moment.
So it wasn't a spiritual lecture. It was more like a total reset, a conscious and, well, somatic reset, even though he was disembodied.
That's a good way to put it. And the effects prove it, right? This experience, even without the usual mystical elements, became the most significant event of his life. He actually calls the whole nightmare, the heart attacks, the resuscitations, the void, a gift.
A gift. After almost dying multiple times on a mountainside, how do you get there?
It seems the transformation was mainly emotional and about his connection to others. He felt this overwhelming gratitude and acceptance, even towards any physical limits he might have from the heart damage. He said his heart opened up in a way it never has before.
Opened up. Okay. And that led to actual changes. and how he lived.
Oh, huge changes, radical shifts in his values, much more empathy for people, a really strong desire to live authentically according to his deepest values, and to avoid, as he put it, empty, meaningless pursuits.
Like what became meaningless?
A big one was money. He said excessive financial gain just isn't important anymore. Now, he still wants basic security, obviously, but the drive for more and more wealth, gone.
Replaced by what?
Connection, contribution, living with an open heart. He says he's far more open-hearted and spiritual now. Not religious necessarily, but definitely has more wiggle room for the mystical and mysterious, all without needing specific doctrines.
So he went from basically a strict materialist to someone open to mystery, spiritually awake, all because he floated in a dark space with some blue and white lights while technically dead.
Pretty much sums it up, yeah. The feeling state was that powerful.
Okay, but here's the kicker, the final piece that ties this all together.
Go on.
He felt this real drive to share the NDE story, but he added something crucial, something he experienced outside the NDE.
Ah, yes. The meditation retreat.
Exactly. He said he's actually had a similar, really powerful, heart-opening experience during a long, silent Buddhist meditation retreat.
So that same quality, that intense, transformative peace, the feeling he called a gift, the heart opening up, he found it, or something very close to it, through dedicated practice, not just through almost dying.
That seems to be what he's suggesting. And that's huge, isn't it?
It's a critical connection. It suggests that maybe this profound state of consciousness he touched during clinical death, that peaceful, timeless, selfless void, maybe it's not caused by dying, but revealed by it.
Revealed? How so?
Like the extreme physical crisis just stripped away the normal, filters the ego, the body sense, the constant mental chatter. It forced him into a state of pure awareness that might actually be an inherent capacity of the human mind.
A capacity that something like deep meditation is also designed to access.
Yeah.
Just more gradually, less violently.
Precisely. The heart attack blew the door open. Meditation is like learning to pick the lock, maybe.
So wrapping this up, what does Ken M's journey tell us? For me, it shows an NDE doesn't need the classic storybook elements to be earth-shatteringly real and change everything.
Right. The power wasn't in the narrative. It was in the raw feeling, that overwhelming peace and gratitude that flooded in when the self just temporarily vanished.
His story seems to show that no matter your starting point, rational materialist, spiritual seeker, whatever, facing that void, that emptiness of self, can unlock this deep capacity for connection and empathy.
Whether the void finds you through a crisis or you find it through dedicated practice.
Okay, so here's the final thought to leave you with. Ken M described that NDE piece as feeling eternal, timeless. Yet he found echoes of it, that same transformative quality, through meditation in normal life. So does that incredible feeling of peace and euphoria mainly tell us something about a possible afterlife? Or does it point more towards the untapped potential of our own consciousness right here, right now? A potential just waiting to be accessed if we can quiet the noise and achieve deep presence. Something to think about.
Thank you for listening to Borrowed Time NDE Podcasts. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss a moment of inspiration. Until next time, wishing you an extraordinary and truly wonderful time on your journey through life.